Hi Cancer, I hope that everybody is doing well. Before we get into it, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. Something's changing up. I was looking at the Ten of Pentacles and what was it? I guess it'll pop up again if it's relevant. The Five of Cups. It's like maybe something that you had thought was stable, but then something wasn't what it appeared to be. Or maybe it wasn't as stable as you had thought that it was. Okay, so you're working on something, you're studying something. Maybe working through an ending. Working through finishing something up here. This is like putting a lot of time and energy into something, but it's something that's coming to a close now for you. Something that may not be particularly comfortable. Like the Ten of Swords usually speaks on something painful that we're going through. It can be a breakup, it can be just the ending of anything that may be more difficult to let go of or stop doing. It can even be habits that we don't want to do anymore. Cycles that are completing. There may be some fighting going on. Like if this is between you and another person, there could be like some type of argument that's still happening. You may just feel conflicted in general about things coming to an end. But you gotta let go of it, I'm seeing. This is working through releasing an ending for you. Something that there's no going back with, it appears. Looks like you're opening yourself up to a surrender. It feels like you're working through getting to a place where you're like accepting that something has come to an end, so you're also ready to just let go of it then. This feels like mentally, emotionally, because like on every other plane it may be finished now, but this is just a sense of you personally working through this now to let it go. For some of you, this is a job. This can be a relationship with some type of masculine figure, coworker, boss. A place that at one point in time you felt happy to be in or happy to be with. Maybe this ending is difficult because whatever role that you were playing, you were enjoying it. I'm seeing this, for some of you, this is related to the home just as much as it's related to work. For others of you, this can be either or. It's like, I'm looking at a relationship here particularly, and this can be any type of relationship. I'm seeing like tears, I'm seeing crying, I'm seeing a lot that's emotionally weighing on you. And I'm seeing you reflecting too, really understanding what you want to let go of here, what is necessary for you to let go of, where in your life you're being guided to surrender. It feels like letting go of control too. It feels too like there's an acceptance that's happening as well. Because you could have been working. Okay, so as we're in Mercury retrograde means that sometimes we can have returns from people that we once knew, or even if it's talking about current relationships that we have, it's about trying to come to terms with things, resolving things, finding closure, sometimes to work out relationship problems. It seems like there's a relationship that you had been really trying to work on. Like you were putting in all of the time and effort you could possibly put into this relationship, and then all of a sudden it's like it doesn't end up going anywhere because I'm seeing the relationship be over. And that may be why it's so difficult to let this go, because of everything that you invested into it. But you still know that you need to let go of it. So it's like you recognize that, but it's still really hard because like look at everything that you put into this. This is what I'm seeing here. Seeing you reflecting. Seeing you taking some time for yourself. Yeah, I'm seeing somebody that you have history with. I'm looking at a highlight of earth signs. I'm also specifically looking at Virgo. I'm looking at Scorpio on the bottom of the deck. You may even too be like thinking back to the good times when things were what you wanted and how you can maybe even recreate that. Maybe remanifest this somehow. For some of you, there's a sense of like thinking back to maybe even different partners that you felt happiness within. It's like connections that did work for you, but like you're no longer within anymore. It seems kind of like there's a reassessment that's happening. So it's like whatever this most current thing is that you've been in, it's coming to an end. And now there's a sense of like nostalgia. There's a sense of looking back on things. There's a sense of like thinking about the good times as well, when everything felt all right. Yeah. I'm seeing like, it's like the 10 of Swords, the 9 of Swords, the 3 of Swords. I'm seeing like so much pain, so much heartbreak, so much like thinking about this over and over and over again. Definitely something really difficult. It seems to me like the most efficient way, and of course once you've done your like processing, because it's really important not to shove anything down. It's really important to feel everything and allow yourself the time you need to. When you are ready, when you have processed and you're like, okay, I want to work on healing now, the thing that is going to help you the most is you accepting things as they are. So it's like taking away any area where your energy might be going into where you're like, well, what if, or if only, and thinking about these things that are not in alignment with the reality of the situation. When you put yourself into alignment with what's actually going on, it's going to help you to accept all of this. And once you get towards the end of your process, that may be something that you find to be helpful for you. But as I said before, don't rush yourself. Let yourself go through this, because it seems like a very big change. There's a lot of stuff going on in the heart chakra, and a lot of like needing to sit with yourself and feel how you're feeling and not push any of it down. That doesn't mean you need to do anything about it, and you may want to be mindful too not to do anything reactive or out of grief or make any decisions that you can't take back. So maybe also sitting with your emotions and recognizing that you can just observe everything that you're feeling and not have to do anything about it. Maybe finding a creative outlet, maybe writing things down, making art, listening to music. It's going to help you make progress. It feels like this process has already like kind of been going on for a bit. Like, I'm not seeing this be something brand new for you. It's something that you're getting closer and closer to, like the grieving process being over so you can release it. And remember too, progress is not linear, but there's a sense of you being like, yeah, things didn't go the way that I wanted them to. Like, yeah, things have come to an end. Yeah, I had time to, like, cry about this and get all of it out. And now it's like you find yourself in a spot where you're like, okay, I need to really reflect on this and understand what I'm still holding on to and what I want to let go of. For myself. And being patient with yourself while you're figuring this out. Because sometimes, too, we recognize, like, ooh, I need to let go of this thing. And then you take the time working to let go of that thing. And then you come back and reflect again. And you're like, you know what, that needs to go, too. So this is all about you giving yourself that time that you need to go through this whole shedding process. Clearing out all of this energy, clearing out all of this old energy, all of this, like, the intricate details of this old cycle that's completed now. Seems like we may also be addressing codependence / attachments. Because I'm looking at the devil here. The devil speaks about things going on in excess. It speaks about the 3D. It speaks about things we're attached to, things that we're bound by. And it seems like this is being worked out too. It's like, where am I overthinking this? Where am I getting so sucked into nostalgia and thinking about things that I'm living in like the fantasy space and need to come back down to reality? Am I not dealing with my emotions because I'm focusing solely on work? Am I overworking myself? Am I avoiding what I'm feeling? Am I avoiding processing? Because this is all about getting all the way down into it with yourself here and understanding where all of those attachments are. Where do you feel bound to things? What do you want to work on? What's going on in excess? Where is there healing that's needed too? Because we all have different attachments to things, and it's about understanding where that comes from within ourselves, that we feel like we need to seek that externally. Where are we not making up for it internally, where we need to address that place so we can find the fulfillment we're looking for, so we can find the balance that we're looking for, and not feel like we're a slave to our attachments. This is too understanding that you don't need to act on every impulse and every whim that you're feeling too when it comes to like urges that you have. This is about finding ways to sublimate too when you catch yourself in that place. Especially if you're having like obsessive thoughts and things like that. Or certain times when you feel like impulses are stronger. Yeah, for a lot of you this has to do with your relationships. There's like a sense of recognizing like issues when it comes to codependency or obsessions that we have with partners, or feeling like we need external partnerships and people to satiate things that we're not addressing internally. So this is about that healing process too, of you getting to know yourself better. And this is about not shaming yourself as well. It's about being like, yeah, I do have an attachment to this, or I am codependent in this way, or I do look for that externally, and I'm not addressing this internally, you know? So it's all about like not judging yourself. It's about understanding yourself here and working through something. That maybe this has given you the opportunity to see parts of yourself that you hadn't been aware of before, too. So it's also about understanding where you can learn and where you can grow from this and not be held back by it. Because it seems like this can either reinforce something that's unhealthy, or this can trigger you into a healing process that you're being guided through. And it's all your choice in how you deal with this. And for some of you, there may also be, it's like a relationship ends and immediately, instead of working on yourself or processing, you're like, where's the next relationship that I can jump into so I don't have to deal with any of this stuff? And I mean, if that's what you do, again, there's no shame in that, but it's about recognizing what you're doing too and being conscious of the decisions. And maybe you aren't ready to deal with something, but then maybe you are ready to deal with something. So it's all about just being okay with what it is that you're doing while also being conscious of it too. In this spread, I'm looking at Virgo, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Gemini. This can be areas of your chart. This can be another person. Also, too, like, say, Cancer, say the Cancer is your Mars sign. When I talk about, like, Sagittarius and Virgo and Capricorn and Gemini, that can be, like, your partner's Mars sign, or, like, the person that we're dealing with here. So always keep that in mind, too. Looks to me like you're really finding yourself and your empowerment through this situation, using it as a vehicle for your empowerment. Looking at Venus here. Looking at Libra on the bottom of the deck. You may use this experience to help you embrace part of yourself, like your creativity, your nurturing energy, stepping more into your feminine energy, which all of us have masculine and feminine, but it seems like this is a focus on your feminine energy here. You recognizing what you're willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with, what feels empowering to you, and going in the direction of that. Knowing your worth. And getting comfortable calling that out. For some of you, this is about having a conversation with someone. Like, I'm leaving, or I'm going in this direction, or this doesn't feel empowering to me. You know, all of these things where we need to be communicating and expressing ourselves. And maybe this is also something that's put you more in touch with your throat chakra in that way. You feel more comfortable saying the things that you need to say. So it's like, rather than being passive, you're being more active with how you're calling things out, what it is that you're communicating. Seeing your guides over here cheering you on. For some of you, you may be finding more support by friends, family, your spirit guides, some type of community even that you identify with. There's a sense here, too, of you recognizing that part of the fulfillment you seek is within your management of your emotions. Because when we look at the Eight of Cups, it's about us going on to seek a type of fulfillment. I'm also hearing enlightenment. So it's like, where am I going to find fulfillment? I'm going in that direction. And to see it be in the direction of the King of Cups, this is about you stepping into an energy where you're managing your emotions. So maybe we're also recognizing too, like, the importance of that component within our journey right now. It's like, if I don't address this, I'm never going to find the fulfillment that I'm looking for, or it's going to be harder to hold on to it, or it's going to be more fleeting for me. And I want something that feels more solid emotionally. And so this is something that's being worked on. For some of you, this is going to therapy. This is self-help. This is you, adopting new coping mechanisms, things like that. Things where, again, you're managing like the emotional and the spiritual body. And doing so in an empowering way, too. This is also about working on, when we go through situations, part of our empowerment is to be able to speak out from a grounded place. So it's like, if you had a tendency before to be reactive in a way where whenever you were feeling anything, you immediately were speaking out on it, and later on you were like, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or like anger issues, like things like this that you end up not feeling good about when you calm down. This is about you working on being in a place where you feel centered and grounded prior to actually bringing things out verbally. So this is working on not being reactive but being responsive, and to also catch yourself and be like, you know what, if I'm riled up emotionally, I'm not going to take action, or I'm not going to make a decision, or I'm not going to have that conversation right now, and knowing that you need to take a walk or take a break or like practice a coping strategy. Because there's a lot less that you have to be cleaning up when you decide to do that too. There's a sense of just in general feeling more collected. Yeah, here we go. Venus and Libra over here. Wanting to speak from a grounded place, wanting to speak from a balanced place, and understanding where that gets you when you're centered. Prior to speaking out, prior to having certain conversations. It seems too like because you're addressing things from an emotional standpoint, because this is something that you've been working on, there's a sense of you feeling like you're doing things more in alignment with your personal values and morals as well. It's like you feel like you're doing things right and you feel good about that and you're experiencing the impact of that. You're experiencing that rather than feeling so separated from everybody. It actually kind of brings you closer towards those around you because you feel like you're good with yourself, because you feel like you're in alignment with what feels right to you. And that will differ for everybody personally. But this is all about like your truth and your value system and what you think is right to be doing for yourself, how you want to be acting. So the balance of emotion and speech, it's like the heart chakra, the throat chakra. Yeah, values. Look at you, Cancer. Right next to the Hierophant over here with your guides above you. For some of you, you have like your angels and your ancestors watching over you, like your spirit guides right by you, spirit. It seems like this is also the development of you spiritually as well, because to see both Libra and the Hierophant here, this is about like you getting in touch with your moral code, like your life philosophy, what you believe in. You getting in touch with yourself here, with your higher self too, with the Hierophant. And maybe this was something that you pushed away at one point in time, especially too, you know, sometimes we're raised in a way where we're very put off by organized religion and stuff like this. And this is you finding your own type of spirituality, like your own type of soul connections, like your own beliefs that agree with you. And that doesn't mean that it needs to be something organized, but it's something that makes sense to you and it's something that you put your faith in. And it's something that now you feel connected with. Something that you've developed for yourself and something that has been a bit of a process as well for you to get connected with. So I'm looking at Venus, I'm looking at Libra, Taurus, and Cancer. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.